Majo John Madden broadcasting from the little hamlet of I can't talk because I just had my first cigarette in about 15 hours, and I'm in that state of can't form words. That's one of the things cigarettes do for me, is they stop my overactive mind and ground me. My macrobiotics friends taught me about that a long time ago. Tobacco is yang, and if you're too yin, it brings you back to ground. And I've been off all morning and asking myself, why am I so off? What do I need to do to get back on center? And the best thing I did was juggling. Juggling really works for me. It gets me out of my head and in my body, and that made me really happy. Over at the O'Reilly restaurant over there, which is connected with the hotel, I'm friends with the people over there. I've been here 2 weeks. And they've been really nice to me. Wonderful, wonderful people. They embrace me as I am, and their 3-year-old not only embraces me as I am, but brings forward a part of me that maybe was present when I had a 3-year-old, but I've got a hunch not. Because in the course of the last 4 years, I've become more radically who I am, even though 20-some years ago I wrote a book called Radical Integrity, which was not about being honest, but about being honest to yourself, reclaiming your wholeness, your integrity, being all the different parts of who you are. And it was a pretty uphill battle back then because I still believed that I had a mental illness and still was taking drugs that messed with me pretty royally. But 4 years ago, that all reversed, and I love myself pretty radically all the time, and don't judge myself, and mostly don't judge anybody very much. It really stands out when I do. So one of the values of smoking cigarettes in our modern society, big trucks. Big trucks. All piled up behind that truck, waiting for a chance to whip around him. So the real paradox of this little pueblo is that this tiny little 2-lane road is a carretera. It's a state highway, and it gets a lot of traffic. So I will always remember this town as the town that's so quiet when the big trucks aren't rolling through. And in Mexico, the big trucks tend to be double. I think that's not even legal in the U.S. to pull so much weight. I never saw it in the U.S. 3 years of travel. I don't remember seeing double loads, but the trucks in Mexico are full of double loads. So in modern day America, my middle class friends tend to look down their nose on smoking. Partly they've been victimized by a huge public health campaign that demonized smoking. And smoking is a habit of the working class these days. And I love it because it gives me a chance to bond with other working class people and peasants in Mexico. Mexico, there's less smoking. There's been even more radical public health against smoking. But in general, I love smokers because smokers know that they're out of control. They know that there's something they're doing that other people are going to disapprove of and may even be unhealthy for them. I think that's mostly the additives, and that's why I go for American spirits. So if I claim every part of who I am, Sarah Ochoa is one of the women in my life that I did bad by. I did. She fell in love with me in a class I was teaching, and I fell in love with her. And when I realized how fragile she was, she had a medical condition that made her really quite fragile, I kind of dumped her in a way that was terrible. She was adorable. She was a wonderful woman, and we had a great thing. But at that time, I was dancing on top of my sex abuse memories, which had not come back yet. So while I seemed to be a great lover, I was overperforming, and it was easy for something to make me throw me off my game, so I couldn't keep performing. And I hurt some women that way. There's 3 or 4 I really would like to get back to. This is the bus that takes you into Vega, neighboring town. That's a truck that carries animals, and even though I'm still eating meat, when I see it packed with pigs or something, I don't feel so good about that. So my path to spirituality and integrity, and I've always called it the low road to higher consciousness. That's what I walk. The low road to higher consciousness. Be radically who you are. Claim all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I go so far as to say that sex and aggression are not... Osho said, do all that stuff, because then you get it out of your system and you can get spiritual. I dare to say I've gone further than him, because I say, no, that's the path. That's the path in. Claim your sexuality and your capacity for anger and aggression. Go into it. There's power there. There's power there. It'll help make you who you really are. Why has it gotten so dark? Because it's maybe about to die. I ought to stop it, save it, because I think maybe my phone is about to die. That's why it got so dark all of a sudden. So, to be continued.